You are sitting on your couch on a Tuesday afternoon watching television when you suddenly let out a massive, uncontrollable yawn. And then another one. You haven't done anything particularly exhausting today, and you slept perfectly fine last night. You dismiss it, assuming you are just a little bored or naturally sleepy. Stop right there. That is not a normal yawn. That is your brainstem literally gasping for oxygen. What you are experiencing in that exact moment is a terrifying neurological phenomenon that precedes a massive stroke by up to 72 hours. It is called excessive pathological yawning, and it happens because a microscopic blood clot is temporarily wedged inside the tiny arteries feeding your brainstem. Your brain detects a sudden, life-threatening drop in oxygen and triggers a reflexive, involuntary yawn to forcefully pump more blood and oxygen upward. You aren't tired. Your brain is suffocating. This is where the most fatal mistake occurs. When people experience this sudden wave of neurological exhaustion, often accompanied by a very fleeting moment of blurry vision or a slight heaviness in one arm that disappears in seconds, what is their first instinct? They say, "I'm just going to go lie down and take a quick nap." This innocent decision is the ultimate death trap. Let me explain the hemodynamics of this trap. During these transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs, your body is in a critical battle. Your heart is trying to push that micro-clot through the vessel, but when you lie down to take a nap, your heart rate slows. Your systemic blood pressure naturally drops. The blood flow inside your carotid arteries becomes sluggish. You have just taken a moving, unstable micro-clot and given it the perfect stagnant environment to anchor itself, accumulate more platelets, and solidify into a massive, impenetrable concrete wall. By surrendering to that fake exhaustion and going to sleep, you are essentially turning off the water pressure in a hose while a rock is stuck inside it. When you wake up, if you wake up, the damage is often irreversible. The stroke hasn't just hit. It has completed its destruction while you were dreaming. You treated a biological emergency like a mild case of afternoon fatigue. Now, I know exactly what many of you are thinking. Dr. Cavanaugh, I check my blood pressure every morning. It's a perfect 120/80. I even take my medication religiously. I am safe. This brings us to one of the most dangerous illusions in modern cardiovascular medicine, the 120/80 illusion. Having normal blood pressure does not mean your blood vessels are healthy. It merely means the pump isn't currently exploding. You can have textbook perfect blood pressure while your blood itself is slowly turning into toxic sludge. To understand why seemingly healthy people are suddenly collapsing from strokes, we have to look past standard lipid panels and dig into a fascinating, yet deeply ignored, area of clinical research from the 1980s. During that decade, pioneers in a field called hemorrheology, the study of blood flow properties, made a chilling discovery about something called rouleau formation. They found that standard blood tests completely miss the microscopic reality of how our red blood cells interact when the inner lining of our arteries is damaged. Your arteries are coated with a microscopic, slippery, Teflon-like protective layer called the endothelial glycocalyx. But due to modern diets, chronic stress, and hidden inflammation, this protective coating sheds off, leaving the vessel walls raw and sticky. The 1980s archival data clearly showed that when this happens, your red blood cells stop flowing freely. Instead, they stick together like a stack of coins. Your blood transforms from a smooth, freely flowing liquid into a thick, sticky blood sludge. Here's the tragedy of our current medical guidelines. Your doctor is doing their absolute best, but they are handcuffed by standardized testing. A standard CBC or cholesterol test only counts the number of cells or the amount of cholesterol in a test tube. It does not measure the viscosity or the stickiness of the blood as it moves through a living vessel. You could have perfectly normal cholesterol, perfect blood pressure, And yet, massive stacks of this sludgy blood are constantly crashing into your brainstem, desperately trying to squeeze through capillaries that are only 1 cell wide. This blood sludge is the silent architect of the stroke. For months or even years, it creates micro-blockages that your body fights off. But 72 hours before a major ischemic event, the sludge reaches a critical mass. That is when you start experiencing those bizarre, unexplainable symptoms, like the pathological yawning we just discussed. The pressure is building, the oxygen is dropping, and the dam is about to burst, regardless of what your blood pressure cuff tells you. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to perform a neurological exam with me. It's called the pronator drift test, but I call it the 10-second zombie arm check. Close your eyes tightly. Hold both of your arms straight out in front of you, palms facing up toward the ceiling, just like you are holding 2 pizzas. Hold them there for 10 seconds. If you have a micro-clot forming in your brain, you won't even realize it, but one of your arms will slowly start to rotate inward and drift downward. That subtle, involuntary drift is a massive red flag. It means the motor cortex in your brain is currently being starved of blood, and it is losing its connection to your muscles. If your arm drifts, or if you've been experiencing those bizarre yawning fits we talked about, you are in the 72-hour danger zone. If you ignore this and just go about your day, you are playing Russian roulette with a massive ischemic event that could permanently paralyze you or take your life. Now listen to me very carefully. If you are currently taking aspirin, blood thinners, or blood pressure medications, do not throw them away. Prescription medications are critical tools that save lives, and you must never stop or change your dosage on your own without professional medical supervision. But you must become an empowered, informed patient. Do not just settle for a basic blood pressure check. Ask your doctor for a carotid Doppler ultrasound. This simple, painless imaging test looks directly at the sludge and plaque buildup in the main arteries feeding your brain. Always demand a second opinion if you feel something is wrong. You don't have to wait for a stroke to hit. You can start repairing your endothelial glycocalyx tomorrow morning. Before you drink your coffee, drink a large glass of water mixed with a pinch of pure Celtic sea salt and a squeeze of fresh lemon. This precise combination of trace minerals and hydration actively thins out the blood sludge after a long night of sleep and helps restore the slippery protective coating on your artery walls. Protect your brain, share this knowledge, and take control of your health today.